Good morning. My name is Miles with Hubble Homes. Today we're going to do a quick tutorial on some of the basic maintenance functions to keep your lawn beautiful for those play dates, family picnics, and barbecues that you'll be so proud of in your new community. Today we're going to go over your irrigation controller, or better known as your sprinkler time clock. We're going to go over a few of the basic settings, how to program the clock, set the time and date. We're going to go over how to set up the control zones and when they operate and how they water your system, the duration of how they operate, and how to better use the water within your community. Not all of these clocks look the same. There's many manufacturers, but they all basically operate exactly the same once you understand the features and how to program the clock. First, we're going to program the current time and date of the time clock to ensure that it operates when we want it to. To turn the selector to that menu, it'll show what's programmed currently. 9:48 a.m. on Saturday. It happens to be 9:48, but today is Friday, so we need to change the date. As I move through the functions, I find the date function. As I change the date, I can change it to July. Then I want to change the date. I'll hit next. I set the current date. And then lastly, I have to set the current year. Once my date and time is set, I can return to the run function. Once my time and date are set to the correct settings, I need to program the time that the time clock is going to operate. Program start times. Turn the selector switch to the program start times. You want to choose a time that does not conflict with your daily schedule, such as showers, high traffic volume in the house, high water use, really. This clock is set for 5:30 a.m. If I want to change the setting, I simply select up and down to move it to 6, 6:30, or if I want to run it earlier, I run it back to start at 4 a.m. Once I have the correct setting, I simply turn my selector switch back to the run. Once our time and date are set, and we know what time the program is going to start, we have to choose how long each zone is going to operate, called the zone run times. Most houses have between 1 and 6 zones. In a new Hubble home, you're typically dealing with the front yard. This home has 2 zones. We turn the selector switch to the zone run times. Zone 1 is set to run for 8 minutes. If I would like to increase that, I can dial it up to 15 minutes. If I want to check the next zone, I hit the next button. Zone 2 is set to run for 8 minutes. Again, on a new lawn, I will dial that up to 15 minutes to ensure saturation. Once my zone times are set, I return the selector switch to the run setting. The last setting we need to pay attention to is which days we choose to water. All communities may be different. There's a days or interval setting on every time clock. Again, we turn the selector switch to the days to water function. This setting says even days. If I want to see what that means, when I put it in the run setting, the clock will tell me it is going to water on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, even days. If I want to change that setting, I go back to days to water. I will change even to odd by increasing the setting. When I go back to run to check, now this system has moved to odd days, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. It may be advantageous to change to a custom day schedule in some communities. To do that, I will change it to which days I want it to run. When I go to days, I click next and Sunday. If I want the water on Sunday, I simply leave it there. If I want to turn it off on Sundays because of a family barbecue or other event, I simply hit the down button to turn it off. As I cycle through the week, I can control each day on and off depending on which days I want the system to water. Up and down is the cycle function to turn a day on and off. When I am finished, I return my selector switch to the run, and it will tell me I have chosen Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in this instance. There may be times when you choose to manually water your lawn. During hot times, or when a new lawn is establishing roots, you have the option to bypass the clock and manually water the line. You leave the selector switch in the run function and you press the up button to start a manual program. Once we push that, manual program will come up. There will be a slight delay as the solenoid activates, and zone 1 will start watering for 15 minutes. If you choose to let that cycle run through, simply walk away. If you change your mind, simply turn the system off to reset the function. We've gone through the basic functions of the sprinkler time clock to operate correctly and as you desire. There are a lot of variables when choosing how to set up your time clock. Overwatering can cause problems with drainage, or oversaturation that will actually flood your lawn. Underwatering can cause dry roots and dry spots that can actually damage and eventually kill your lawn. On new lawns, we recommend watering 3 times a day for the minimum durations, 7 to 10 minutes each time. This keeps the water on top of the surface and allows the roots to establish down below ground. Those might be times you choose to run the manual setting and bypass the sprinkler time clock to ensure that you're getting proper hydration into the roots of the new lawn. As you choose to manage the time clock, as we discussed, many variables come into play. Hot weather might require you to water each day. New lawns, obviously, as we discussed, need water up to 3 times a day to stay properly hydrated. As we go into the cooler months, past August, September, even into a late October, it's important to manage your time clock as we have shown you and adjust the times, dates, and durations to cut back on the water supply to prevent damage into the winter months and overwatering. All new Hubble homes come with pressurized irrigation water for irrigation use. That irrigation water is supplied to the house and controlled by the time clock. That time clock controls the irrigation control valves located somewhere near the foundation or in the landscape area of the home. Those valves are what you're programming and turn the irrigation on and off to your system. Inside the irrigation control valve junction box, if we open that up, we will find components such as the irrigation valve and the control solenoid. The control solenoid is directly connected to the sprinkler time clock inside the garage. As we set the controls for the sprinkler time clock, that is what opens and closes these solenoids to allow water to flow through the valves to the irrigation or sprinkler system in your yard. As you drive around, you probably see signs and you hear people talking about sprinkler blowouts. Each irrigation system should be blown out in the fall to ensure that it doesn't freeze over the winter. Sprinkler heads, shallow lines, a number of things could go wrong if we don't blow the system out. There's another irrigation control valve at the main supply to every home. We're going to look at that next. Near the water supply or the road of the house, there's a larger irrigation control box. Inside here is a butterfly valve that we can close off the supply to the house. If I turn the supply off with this valve, the water is off to the house. Your landscaper will attach here to blow the system out, but first I need to relieve the pressure. As we relieve the pressure, I can attach an air system and then control the valves manually as we did in the garage. This will allow us to blow all the water out of the irrigation system for winter. There are 2 types of sprinkler heads, adjustable and fixed position. This happens to be an adjustable head that we can change the direction in which the water flows. Currently, water is not hitting the edge of the grass, which will create a yellow spot. If you walk into your lawn and you see certain yellow spots, it may be because your sprinkler heads aren't adjusted properly. To do so, if it's adjustable, there's a ring. You can hold the top, we can increase the spray, and I can change the way the water flows to ensure proper coverage over my lawn. If I turn it far enough and open up the spread, I can ensure that water will hit all areas of my lawn. There are a few things that could go wrong even with the simple sprinkler head. If you're noticing dry areas in your lawn, the head could be adjusted improperly or it could be clogged. If you see a head that is not spraying correctly, we need to check the filter first. There's a few simple tools that make this an easier process. A channel locks, a needle nose, a fine tip screwdriver will all make it easier to check that filter. First, many find it difficult to even get the head out of the ground. You need to make sure that the head is not plugged. A fine tip screwdriver pried underneath the sprinkler head can make it easier to pull up. As you pull the head up into its extended position, the top of the head, you'll notice, twists off like a bottle cap. As we take the bottle cap off, there's a filter inside to prevent clogging. That filter, especially on a new system, can be plugged with fine dust, silt, or even rocks. Simply blowing on the filter or flushing it out is very helpful. Make sure not to let go of the stem or it will retract and you'll have to use a needle nose to pull it back out. Once the filter is clean, simply place it back in and replace the head. Notice on this head there is an opening at the top. Several things can plug there as well. A piece of grass, a small pebble, any type of debris. Sometimes it's helpful to take a screwdriver and make sure that that's clear. You can also do this while it's operating without removing the head, if you just have to clean the opening. As we replace the head, we'll realign the spray pattern. Thank you for spending time with me today to learn about your new irrigation system and how it affects the performance of your lawn. Hubble Homes is a proud partner with Zamzows, a local Idaho company that specializes in all landscaping needs. Welcome to your new community, and welcome to Hubble Homes.